This tale is a work of historical fiction and horror. It is not to be taken as fact. Viewer discretion is advised. Los Angeles, 1946. The City of Angels. Bright neon lights and palm trees cast long shadows on hopeful young faces. Elizabeth Short, age 22, newly arrived in Hollywood with dreams of stardom. She's an aspiring actress, without a single film credit to her name, a Massachusetts girl chasing fame under the California sun, pretty, petite, always clad in black. Elizabeth yearns to see her name in lights. But in this city of dreams, success can be maddeningly elusive. Tonight, in a moment of despair, Elizabeth Short is about to make a fateful choice. She will seek an audience not with a Hollywood agent, but with something far darker, a benefactor from the shadows offering a shortcut to fame. Elizabeth's name will indeed be immortal, but not for the reasons she hopes. For the bargain she strikes will brand her forever as the Black Dahlia, the most gruesome of Hollywood legends. In the quest for fame, Elizabeth is about to learn the true price of selling your soul, courtesy of a deal with the devil. History provides answers for many things, but for others, we must look beyond the veil. Los Angeles shimmers with post-war optimism and hidden corruption. It's a warm summer night in 1946, and Elizabeth Short stands at a crossroads, literally, at the corner of Hollywood and Vine under a flickering street lamp. Tears streak her pretty face. Another day of rejection. No calls back, no auditions, not even a waitressing job. She fingers the frayed edges of her fashionable black dress, one of the few nice outfits she owns, and clutches a newspaper listing movie casting calls. The casting notices might as well be written in a foreign language for all the luck they've brought her. How many more studios can I traipse into? Hoping for a miracle, she thinks. In her desperation, a thought occurs. Something her more superstitious childhood friend once joked about. You want to be a star? Girl, you'd have to sell your soul to the devil. Elizabeth glances around to make sure no one is watching. The street is unusually empty at this late hour. Under the street lamp's glow, she speaks softly, almost playfully. If anyone's listening, I'd give anything to be a famous actress. Anything. Her voice trembles as she adds, I'd even sell my soul. She gives a nervous laugh at her own melodrama. But the laughter dies when the street lamp above her sputters and goes out, plunging the intersection into darkness. A chill wind gusts through the palm trees. Elizabeth's heart skips. Perhaps a coincidence? Then, emerging from the alley, she sees a figure. A man in a sharp suit and fedora steps into the glow of a nearby marquee. He's handsome in a cold, ageless way. Pale skin, eyes that catch the light like a cat's. Good evening, Miss Short, the stranger says smoothly. Elizabeth startles. How does he know her name? He seems to glide closer. I hear you're looking for a big break. His voice is soothing, each word polished. Elizabeth feels a slight pressure in her temples, as though reality itself has shifted. She should be afraid, yet she isn't. Who are you? She stammers. The man smiles, showing immaculate teeth. Let's just say, he purrs, I'm a talent agent of a different sort, and I can make you very famous. In the back of her mind, alarm bells ring. Is this some joke? Or a cruel trick on a vulnerable girl? But when the stranger produces a single red rose, seemingly out of thin air, and offers it to her, Elizabeth feels an undeniable pull. Anything to be a star. Her heart's desire resonates so strongly that it drowns out caution. "What's the catch?" she manages to ask with a weak smile, trying to keep it light. The man in the fedora chuckles. "Only the usual, a small favor in return down the line. Call it your soul's performance fee. But don't worry about that now. First, let's talk about you." On every marquee from Sunset to Broadway, his eyes glitter like dark jewels under that broken street lamp. Elizabeth Short seals her bargain. The details are hazy in her memory even later. Did she shake his hand? Sign something in blood? She only recalls a prick on her finger as she took the rose and the man's. However, as 1946 turns to 1947, Elizabeth's star still hasn't quite caught fire. Bit parts and broken promises accumulate. She's become a familiar face at Hollywood hangouts, known more for her striking looks and nickname than for any actual roles. With growing unease, Elizabeth feels the agreement's shadow upon her. In midnight whispers, she asks herself, "What exactly did I agree to give? And when will he come to collect?" One moonless night, January 1947, Elizabeth has a nightmare. The well-dressed stranger stands at the foot of her bed, his eyes burning a deep red. "It's time, Elizabeth," he says, voice like grinding glass. "I kept my end. You had your taste of fame. Now it's your turn." She wakes in a sweat, the rose, now blackened and dry, on her nightstand. Panicked, she resolves to flee, to break the deal. Maybe if I leave Hollywood? She plans to take a bus north and vanish. But fate, or the devil, intervenes. On January 9th, 1947, a friend drops her off at the Biltmore Hotel in downtown LA. Elizabeth said she was meeting her sister that day, but others later suspect she was meeting someone else. In truth, Elizabeth senses her infernal agent is closing in, and has told friends conflicting plans as a diversion. She paces the Biltmore's ornate lobby as the clock nears 10 p.m., casting anxious glances at every suited gentleman who passes. Finally, the pressure is too much. Elizabeth slips out a side door into the night, intending to disappear into the city. She doesn't make it. As she steps onto the dark sidewalk, a black Cadillac pulls up. The rear door opens and he is there. The man with the fedora, smiling ever so politely. Two strong arms, his chauffeurs, henchmen, demons in human guise, grab her before she can scream. "You weren't trying to run out on our deal, were you?" the stranger asks softly as they bundle her into the car. Elizabeth's heart sinks with cold terror. The Cadillac glides off, its tires hissing on the damp pavement as if driving straight into hell. January 15th, 1947. Dawn breaks over a vacant lot in Los Angeles' Leimert Park neighborhood. A young mother out for a morning walk with her toddler catches sight of something pale in the weeds. At first, she thinks it's a discarded store mannequin, split into halves. With a closer look, she reels in horror and lets out a scream. It is the body of a woman severed in two at the waist. The corpse is laid out with grotesque care, the two halves positioned just a foot apart, intestines tucked neatly underneath, the upper body's arms raised over the head, elbows bent and legs spread-eagled. The woman's face is a rictus of terror, lips slashed wide apart from ear to ear in a Glasgow smile. There is no blood. The body has been completely drained of blood, leaving the skin alabaster white. It's as if she was exsanguinated elsewhere, and washed clean before being moved here, like some macabre ritual. The horrified witness calls police, and soon the lot is teeming with detectives and reporters, drawn by the sheer savagery of the crime. It does not take long to identify the victim. Fingerprints sent via sound photo, early facts, to the FBI come back with a name: Elizabeth Short, age 22. The press, recalling her sobriquet, christens the case the Black Dahlia murder. Los Angeles is transfixed and repulsed in equal measure. Who could have perpetrated such a fiendish act? The body's precise bisection suggests a killer with surgical skill, perhaps a doctor. Rumors swirl of a mysterious rich man, a jealous lover, a mad surgeon. The LAPD launches the biggest manhunt in its history, interrogating over 150 suspects. But every lead turns to dust. No one is ever charged. It is as if the perpetrator were a phantom. Our story imagines that phantom was not human at all. In the dead of night, in a rundown shack on the outskirts of the city, Elizabeth Short faced her infernal benefactor one final time. Bound and gagged, she could only watch in petrified silence as the devil in a fedora removed his jacket with casual ease and rolled up his sleeves. "I gave you a gift, Elizabeth," he said almost kindly. On a nearby table lay the tools of what looked like a sadistic surgeon: knives, a bone saw, and other instruments that glinted in lamplight. Fame, admiration, a taste of the life you wanted. But you tried to cheat me? Elizabeth's eyes flooded with tears behind the gag. She thrashed against the ropes, binding her to a makeshift operating table, but to no avail. "Shh," the devil crooned. "No use fighting. This won't kill you immediately. I want you to fully appreciate what happens when you break a deal." No one knows the exact horrors Elizabeth endured in her final hours. Mercifully, we skip to the aftermath. She may have still been alive as the devil's blades went to work. The coroner later noted she died from shock and a brain hemorrhage, likely from the trauma. Perhaps her consciousness faded as her mouth was carved into that ghastly grin, a cruel joke, as if the devil were saying, "Smile for the cameras." Her body was expertly cut in half through the waist, a procedure known as hemicorporectomy, performed so cleanly it shocked even seasoned police. The killer took his time, washing her blood off and posing her remains just so. The final tableau of a failed starlet who wanted the world to notice her. And notice they did. For weeks, newspaper headlines screamed of the Black Dahlia and her horrific end. In a perversely twisted way, Elizabeth Short achieved the immortality she craved. Her name and grisly story have indeed lived on for decades, but only in infamy, as a cautionary tale of the dark side of Hollywood fame. If you crave the truth behind the curtain of time, hit that subscribe button and step beyond the veil. Like, comment, and share, because history doesn't stay buried forever.